are back here live inside the SCCA, brought to you by Goodyear Racing Tires and Vintage Racers for Rescues. Brian Bielanski here with Gregg Ginsberg. Runoffs After Dark. We made it through day two.
Yes, we did.
We did not need an arc for today.
No, and once again for the second day in a row, oil down after Group 4. Thankfully, only 4 groups this afternoon.
Yeah, Group 5.
Group 5, that's right.
Yeah. Last group of the day, a little oil, and that's how we ended things up. But a big deal here. And we had yesterday, you needed an arc, and we were lining up people 2 by 2 to put on the arc to get them out of here safe.
Yeah.
Today, we did have some dampness at various times, but nothing like yesterday.
No, we had some dampness, and as we saw during some of the races, much like Spa, where only a small portion of the track was damp, and we really saw mid-race tire strategy, come into play for 2 of our races here.
Yeah, it was definitely very interesting because even when we did have rain, almost all the time, there was a portion of the track that was completely dry.
Right.
And a portion of the track that was really awful.
Very, very wet. Yes.
All right, so we're going to get right to it. We've got 552, 790 races. How many do we do today?
I don't know. I lost count, and I'm really bad with simple math.
Yes.
And after taking a run at the simulator today, I'm still a little loopy.
There you go.
Loop the car, head is a little loopy. So we'll see if we can manage to.
No worries. So we did 5 races this morning. We talked about all of those races. We talked about all of those races during our noon show.
Yeah.
It seems like it's so long ago. It's noon
very,
ago.
very much so. Yes.
And so we got through all of those. But let's go through and start talking about our evening races.
Sure.
Our afternoon races.
Afternoon races, sure.
And we can start with one that is really important to me and just a family friend.
As opposed to me at the end of the morning races, no tears from Brian.
Yeah, I'm not the teary type.
Right.
But anyway, Steve Introne, his father taught me how to run race control, how to
Bob
be race control. His father, Bob, I think he was chairman of the board of directors for SCCA, and just a fantastic guy. And he was a New Hampshire State. Anyway, enough about Bob. Bob passed away a year and a half ago, right before the runoffs in Indy. And but he was definitely looking down upon Steve today as Steve got his first national championship.
Yeah, and so Steve taking the national championship, working together with Rich Roman out of the Washington, D.C. region. They, as I think we spoke during lunchtime, they had been working together since the Summit Point Majors this spring, very early on this spring, I think the very end of, actually very beginning of April. And they were nose to tail for the entire race, trying to break clear of many-time national champion David Daugherty in his Chevy Sonic, and our 2020 national champion Riley Salyer in his Mazda 2. They could never manage to do it. But as many times as David Daugherty tried to push his car down the inside going into 1, went side by side with Rich Roman coming through 2, coming through 3, and going into 4, he was never able to break up that pair of minis up at the front of the field. And Steve Introne, coming out of Oak Tree, or probably coming out of Hog Pen on the very last lap, and with Rich Roman on his tail, Roman popping out at the last second, trying to draft by our leader, and was not able to do it. Only thousandths of a second, I believe the margin of victory for Steve Introne, 78 thousandths of a second over Rich Roman. David Daugherty finishing 3rd, Salyer 4th, Dan Sheehy a very distant 5th. And I'll tell you, this may not be official. We don't know. I talked about it during the lunch break.
I was going to say, we put on all these screens here, and we don't mention it very often. The bottom left corner, it says results are provisional.
Yes.
And the reason we say that is because, there can be protests. A lot of things can happen in the tech shed. Well, we know for a fact that in this particular class, there are protests.
Yeah, and I knew that this was going to be coming actually all the way back on Sunday, that there are a couple of drivers that they're looking to ensure that the class stays legal. And B-Spec, as we've talked during the week, has really managed to grow considerably over the past 5 years. And part of that is knowing that all of these different cars are on a level playing field. And so there are some there are a couple of protests being made to ensure essentially that, and they're not really targeting specific people. They're targeting car types.
Right.
That one driver from literally each and every chassis has had a car protested, including Steve Introne,
Right.
to ensure that that the cars are at the spec level, and everybody is building cars to the spirit of the rule set. So that's where we are with B-Spec right now, but a great run on track. And Introne and Roman have been the class of the field from the start of qualifying here on Tuesday.
Right. Okay, let's move on. Formula Atlantic. We had 4 finishers.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a lesser subscribed class, but here are your champions.
Yeah, so Alex Mayer started third today, took the championship. Austin Hill in his F3 car started fourth. He finished with the silver. J.R. Smart started fifth. He finished in third, and Rod Rice, who started sixth. And I think the big story here, though, Chip Romer, he was your pole sitter on cold tires, comes down through a hog pen.
Yep.
So still some puddles on track, not a completely dry track. He goes off into the grass. Anthony Sieber, who started third, tried to avoid a spinning Chip Romer, ended up contacting Chip Romer's car and having his rear tire go down. And so we end up going to a full course caution. And after that, Alex Mayer, in perhaps the lowest horsepower car of all, in his JDR power, his 1000cc powered JDR, was able to really walk away to a national championship. Now, Mayer did early on also put the car off track, but was able to recover. Great run for him, and he's run quite a bit in the Washington D.C. region, so great to see him. And of course, we saw we had him. Actually, I believe we have him tomorrow, if I remember correctly. I'm going to have to verify the schedule here and see where he is going to be running in GT3. I believe we'll see him in the TCR Audi RS.
All right. So you may have seen sneaking next to us here, Eric Prill.
Wait, where'd you come from?
Exactly.
Oh
you
my
were
God.
just jabbering away, and we snuck someone in next to you here. And so we're going to come back and finish the rest of our 3 races today when we get done talking with Eric, because he's a busy guy, and he made some time for us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, I did it again. I never remember to turn up the guest mic.
Check. Is this thing on?
It's on.
There we go.
It's on. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for being here and doing this, guys.
Thank you.
This is really cool extra content for the runoffs, and fills in a lot of those stories that I think people aren't really hearing about necessarily when they're just watching the
races. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's take a little checklist. A little rain yesterday. Did you order that specifically for yesterday, or was that on the menu?
So I wasn't in charge of yesterday's weather.
Okay.
I was in charge of part of today's weather.
And
I was definitely in charge of all the qualifying weather.
Yes. Okay. and we made it. It was good.
We did. What a challenging day yesterday, just for so many people. All of the teams, all of the workers, especially our corner workers that were out there in really rapidly changing conditions. And for anybody that stuck around and saw, after we were down for so long, to be able to come back with a spectacular race at the end of the day. But really, I've been coming to the run. I've been on staff for 25 years. I've been coming to the runoffs a little bit longer than that, and I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite like the wind and the sideways rain we had at the end of the day yesterday.
It was wicked crazy for my Northeast friends.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah, I mean, if you were from Boston, you would call that wicked crazy.
It was, but they pulled it off, and kudos to the drivers. I mean, just these last 2 days, we've had some really incredible driving. They've got a lot of laps in. Obviously we had the oil down yesterday, and we had to unfortunately end that race early, after just a few laps. But for the most part, the racing and even when cars are getting off track, they're able to get back on. We've seen a lot of really respectful driving. So just really proud of everybody that's out here racing in challenging conditions to get us a lot of green to checker stuff.
So you said the words green to checker. You and I sat on a podcast, what was it, 5 months ago, talking about green to checker. If you would have asked me during that podcast if we had conditions like we had yesterday, if we would go 43 laps in the morning before our first full course yellow, I'd say you were nuts.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what happened. And almost all of the problems we had yesterday were not related to drivers going crazy. It was oil on the track or something like that. It was really pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we had some challenges on the test days.
Sure.
Not gonna sugarcoat that, and I think we know it actually improved as we got into Monday,
Hmm.
and we made some changes, and I think we got some really good information about how we can improve things in the future. But once we got into qualifying and the races, you know, it is easier when you get out there and you're only with your class, or maybe you're with one other class, and you're pretty compatible out there on the track. But just yeah, they've been doing a tremendous job. I'm really proud of the driving community here this week.
All right, so we've got through 18 national champions. We've given away 18 gold medals. There's a couple of races tomorrow, and you are going to attempt to win another national championship.
Yeah, I am.
You ready?
Yeah, um, it's kind of weird. I don't know if it helps or hurts that I can't really focus on racing that much
Right.
when I'm here doing this. I think in some respects it might actually help because I see some of my other competitors, and we're here so long, and you're constantly thinking about the driving and what you can do with your car, and should I do this or should I do that? And sometimes you dial yourself right out, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that
No.
very much. It's been a busy week, and it always is. But
Well, it must have been okay. I've got your name at the top of this list here. You're the pole sitter. Uh, you've got to feel good about your chances going in, though, right?
yeah, yeah, the car's awesome. I've really, the last couple of years, I've had some challenges with it. Really self-induced. I had a pretty big wreck in 2020, and the car just really wasn't right for a while after that, and I didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, my car's running good. Got a new engine that's making great power, and obviously after 2019, I pretty took pretty well to this racetrack. So
Right.
yeah, we'll give it another shot tomorrow. Got some great competition. Just looking forward to. It's always such a great race with F production.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So now, since you were kind of like the head cook and bottle washer for Green to Checker, do you have to model that behavior tomorrow as you're defending all of those F production cars coming at you from behind?
Well, yeah, my name is on a lot of the communications, but this has been a group effort.
No,
But
I
but
know.
but absolutely, I try and practice what we preach.
Right.
I do try and drive the way that I want other people to
Sure.
drive.
Sure.
We all make mistakes from time to time. I try not to. I have made mistakes, and I probably messed up somebody's race, a few times in the last 30 years that I've
Yeah.
been driving. But yeah, I mean, I love clean racing. I like good racing. I'm okay with finishing second if we have a good clean race, rather than tangle with somebody and
Yeah.
and have something tainted like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And we're hoping this is the start of a long tradition here. And not putting you on the spot. That's okay. You don't have to answer right now. But we're having a great time. And the club's done just a fantastic job. It's been a long time since I've been to the runoffs, and the level of professionalism, just walking through the paddock with the vendors and the way that everything's set up and everything has really amped up over the last since that I've been here. Last one's Mid Ohio. Lots have changed since then, and it's so impressive when you come through.
Well, thank you. And I just wanted to note we've tried to bring some things back, some of the atmosphere. You mentioned Mid Ohio, and a lot of people, when we started moving the race around, a lot of people said, we're just missing
Hmm.
some of that feel in the paddock. And I think that the block party Wednesday night, we started that here in
Yeah, that
2019,
was fun.
and it was fun, and it really it feels like the paddock is back alive. And
Yeah.
and that's I mean, it wasn't last night. Everybody was we were battening down the hatches last night.
There were things alive in the paddock, but it wasn't people having fun.
Yes, there were. There were a lot of awnings alive
Exactly.
flying through the air. But
we lived through that.
But no, appreciate that, and you know, it's a huge team effort, and you know, from the staff to our specialty chiefs to all the volunteers that help put it on to VIR, which is a great host, and you know, we're excited to come back again next year to do this 2 years in a row. So it's a big team effort, and we're proud of the event. We really are.
Got it. Eric Pearl, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to head to break. When we come back, we've got a special award to give out.
We do.
To someone who just showed up. We're doing everything out of order. This was all supposed to happen at the end of the show, but people show up.
I told you I'm loopy, and you need to confuse me like
We put them on TV. That's coming up next. This is Inside the SCCA, brought to you by Goodyear Racing Tires and Vintage Racers for Rescues. Decades of sports car racing success comes from Goodyear Racing Tires' dedication to grassroots motorsports. Too many trophies and championships to count, and a commitment to continuing that tradition fuels continued tire development. From the professional levels of motorsports to the pinnacle of amateur racing in the SCCA, Goodyear Racing Tires are made for winning trophies. Follow @RaceGoodyear on Facebook or scan the QR code. Goodyear Racing is more driven.
Sentinel by Candelaria Racing Products is a comprehensive motorsports video system, incorporating live streaming, local recording, picture-in-picture, flag status, leaderboards, data overlays, and more. Perfect for endurance racing, sprint racing, and HPDE, Sentinel includes everything you need to get started. With the ability to control the live feed from the cloud, and GPS Auto Start will never miss an on-track moment. What are you waiting for? Get your Sentinel today.
And we are back inside the SCCA here, brought to you by Goodyear Racing Tires and Vintage Racers for Rescues. We have a repeat guest this weekend. Kara Barron's here. Thank you.
Thank you again for having me. And you've remembered my mic.
I know. I turned
I'm proud of you.
Well, you forgot Eric's.
I know.
Welcome back.
It's the 6th show, and it's the first time I've remembered to turn up the guest mic, and I love it.
I'm proud.
You should be. You should be. You're here for an important reason.
Yes, sir.
We're giving away some awards.
To me?
You're one of them.
What?
Yes.
I'm not getting anything.
You are our first of 4 Veterans Challenge Award winners for the weekend.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
That is the coolest thing ever.
I'm so happy. We're giving away 4 awards today. These are for, well, mostly for yesterday, but we thought your performance today was worth getting out there and getting the Veterans Challenge Award.
I really appreciate
There's
that.
a second one for today that we'll give out tomorrow.
Okay.
But we loved your spirit and,
Thank you.
and your get after itness.
Hey.
And we also want to give a big thank you and a big congratulations to Cameron Reed. She won the Women on Track Award for yesterday.
Heck yeah.
The Under 25 Award went to Peter Norton.
Peter Norton in
second
in E-Production,
in
exactly.
production. And then the Perseverance Award went to Chip Herr. Chip Herr. Yep, Chip Herr. I'll never get it right, Chip.
In STU, driving not an Audi A4, but driving a Subaru WRX.
From last to second place. So
that is insane.
that is pretty nuts, isn't it?
As a driver, that is like one of the hardest things to do, to come from the back of the pack to the front.
So now what's going to happen is you are now eligible at the end of the weekend
Okay.
as one of the 12 winners
Okay.
to win the big G-Dub Henderson 2022 Award of Excellence.
That is pretty cool.
And that's going to one of our 12 winners. And the winner who gets that is going to win one of the Sentinel Systems data logger streaming video systems worth $2,500.
Is there like a voting thing? Should I tell my people to go vote for me? Because we could definitely use that in the car.
No, but there's a case back there. You can just drop a 50 in it. No, I'm just kidding.
I got 100. We'll start dropping hundreds. Let's go.
Cannot be bought.
We're gonna have another protest, please.
Exactly.
No. We've
Not
had
in
enough.
BSAC. We can't have any more protests.
I was just gonna say we've had enough BSAC
No, thank
protests.
you.
Yeah.
We're going to have teardowns of all the TV crew. They're going to start tearing about cameras to look for weird stuff in the cameras.
Are they going to tear down my GoPro?
No.
Probably not.
Oh, no.
Probably not.
Okay.
So,
Then we're good.
but really, really excited to have this opportunity to give these awards out. We especially, we love them all, but I have a special place in my heart for our veterans, and I want to thank you for being there. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And I was just say, Brian, before we leave, I want to ask, how was your race today?
Oh my God, it
It looked very
gnarly.
hectic.
I mean, so we had that Fiesta go over on his hood, and we all lined back up and went for the restart. And that's kind of what gave us our push. We were able to get things back together and get a little bit closer. Somehow, in the slowest car in the field with the most power disadvantage, I still didn't come in last.
Yeah,
so I am
wrong with that?
happy. We didn't have the rain race I was hoping for, but next
you
year
were hoping
Next
for
year.
rain.
I was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a rain driver.
Yeah.
Let's go.
it's fantastic. That's awesome. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to head to break. When we
appreciate
come
you
back,
guys.
we'll talk more about races. I think the Vintage Racers for Rescues people might be here. If not-
Puppies?
yeah, puppies. If not, we'll get them in eventually. We'll be right back. This is Inside the SCCA, brought to you by Goodyear Racing Tires and Vintage Racers for Rescues. Vintage Racers for Rescues. Racers rescuing dogs and cats from high-kill rural shelters and high-risk situations. Virginia and North Carolina have the third highest euthanasia rate in the U.S., and Vintage Racers for Rescues founders Robin and Dave Handy decided to do something about it. Vintage Racers for Rescues is a 501c3 charity that saves between 300 and 400 animals every year, nursing them back to health, finding foster homes, and eventually forever homes. VintageRacersForRescues.com. Use the QR code to find them on the web or to make a donation.
Grass Paddock Motorsport provides Mini Cooper race car rentals, trackside support, and coaching at tracks all over the eastern half of the country. GPM provides podium-capable rentals for B-Spec, the fastest growing class of racing in the SCCA, for 3 years running, and now the fourth largest class overall. We have a unique approach where our cars are located near the track you want to race instead of being in a central location with large towing fees. Come join us at Grass Paddock Motorsports, where Grass Paddock is an attitude and not a location. Mention this ad for a 10% discount and find us at www.grasspaddock.com.
Racing for Heroes is proud to be a partner of Inside the SCCA. RFH is a nonprofit devoted to helping veterans suffering from the seen and unseen wounds of war through racing and our range of programs. RFH's programs include health and wellness, motorsports therapy, community outreach, education, and employment. Visit racingforheroes.org to learn more and find out how you can help. Cruise Associates is honored to have sponsored this message. And we are back live here at Inside the SCCA. So many people. Oh, we're going to do Vintage Racers for Rescues first. Dave Handy.
Hi, Dave.
I'm embarrassed. I put your wife's name on the titles, so should I just title you as Robin?
No, that's fine. She was going to come, but we had a little bit of an animal emergency about an hour ago, and so she was headed to the shower to get cleaned up and stuff, and said, "Can you do this solo?" And I'm like, "Okay, here I am."
Well, we're happy to have you.
Well, thanks a
for
lot.
coming.
And there's no better reason to not be here than to be going to rescue an animal.
Well, unfortunately, one of our own animals. It wasn't.
Even
we've got a fair number of them of our own, along with the the hundreds that we rescue and foster during the course of the years and stuff. So yeah, I'm a little out of breath.
That's okay.
But it's I don't even know where I'm going with
That's
this.
okay. So let's just start. What is Vintage Racers for Rescues?
Vintage Racers for Rescues is a group that we started. I'm going to say probably she's better at this than I am,
That's
so
okay.
I'm going to
That's
do
all
the best I can. 3 years ago,
Okay.
We had been doing a lot of fostering for other groups and raising money for other groups, and so we decided after a while that hey, why don't we take the plunge and do this ourselves? So we formed Vintage Racers for Rescues, based on the fact that we're vintage racers ourselves.
Sure.
She races a Mini, and I race a number of different cars for myself and customers of ours at Sasco Sports. And so we took the plunge and we dove on in, and we it's been a heck of a ride, I'll tell you. There are so many animals in need around here in the North Carolina, Virginia area. The shelters around here, unfortunately, have, I think, the third highest euthanasia rate in the country. So we do the best we can to reach out to the shelters. The shelters reach out to us to say, we've got these animals, and can you help us out? And we also take in a lot of special needs animals, animals that have been hit by a car that need to have some extra surgery done, sometimes losing a leg or something, which... Sure. It's amazing how animals can rebound from that and progressed right on like it would never happened before.
So this is a no joke organization. You guys have done what 300-400 rescues a year?
Yeah, we're at something like that. I have to pull
you
my
don't have
cheat
to give me
sheet
the
out.
exact
But
number,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a good number of
But
animals that
it's
you guys are taking care of, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot, and we at any one time have between 80 and 100 foster animals in our own house and other foster animals. We don't have a facility like
Sure.
the ASPCA has or the shelters do. People sometimes think that we're the shelter, and we're not. We're just a bunch of foster homes, a bunch of volunteers that take these animals into their houses and socialize them and get them well and make them so that we can adopt them out to people and find them their forever homes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, are there other vintage racers that help you guys out?
Oh, there's a ton of them. I mean, we have 100 and I'm gonna remember. She told me $140,000 a year in vet bills.
Wow.
So
Oh my gosh!
so we
you
couldn't
need quite a bit of support.
So
Yeah.
we couldn't do this without the help of all the vintage racers, not just vintage racers, but racers in general. I mean, the Goodyear people are great to us in everything they do and helping to set this up. We do a number of different auctions during the course of the
Sure.
year, 50-50 raffles, and then just donations. I mean,
Right.
people are very, very generous and very supportive of what we do, and we appreciate and obviously couldn't do it without the help of them.
Exactly.
I mean, we can't do it on our own.
Yeah, absolutely. So if people want to help, what do they do?
They can either go to our website, vintageracers.com. Don't forget to put the S on the end.
Yep.
.com, or
It's
there's a
vintageRacersForRescues.com.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Yes.
Did I get it wrong? I got it wrong, didn't
That's
I?
okay. I'm here to help you out.
Thanks. Or there's a QR code on the thing when
Right.
it comes up that
So
you can scan that.
if you see the commercial that we have running every
Mhm.
show, I think every show,
Yep.
and you stop the commercial because it's really hard to do the QR code while it's up in that 30 seconds. So it's YouTube. That's the amazing part of YouTube.
You can go back and view it and scroll back
So
and view it again.
You hit
Scrub
pause.
back for me.
This is I'm talking to our older, like me, the old people like me.
Like me
Hit
too.
pause, pull out your phone, put it up that little QR code.
The young guy?
And yeah, you're the young guy. That's great, scary, isn't it?
50
Anyway.
plus years old. I'm the young guy. Wow.
I'm doing young QR code
There you go.
education here. My kids are going to be laughing all the way home here. But anyway, it launches you right to the website. There's a place to click to donate, help these folks out, get them some money.
Help these animals out. Yeah.
Help the animals out. Well, help the folks who help the animals.
Sure.
And because we love pets, my black lab is named Shelby. Yes, after
Okay.
Carol Shelby.
There you go.
I cannot lie.
Perfect.
And
Excellent.
and it's a rescue.
It's
we've
a
had,
501(c)(3), so
yes.
it's all tax deductible and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And as I say, we can't do it without the support and the encouragement of the whole racing community. It's been fabulous.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, now I'm going to tap dance a little bit while we bring in our next guest. We've got Mike Evok from Racers for Heroes. Come on down if you want to just hop on out.
Sure. Thank you again.
We're going to
Appreciate
do
it all.
this on the fly, folks, just like we know what we're doing.
Thank you.
And it's like the Today Show. You know, they just have people walk
It's
on.
like the
walk
cavalcade of stars
It's
coming
like
on
the
in here
cavalcade
today.
of Stars.
Got
And,
our own red carpet right over there.
Hello. Hop
Hello.
on the headset there and join us. I've got all these people coming in today and all these wonderful people who are helping out. And welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
You
for
saw
having
we
us.
just gave away our first Veterans Challenge Award,
I seen that.
and we're really happy about that. Tell us about your organization.
We're a 501c3 nonprofit for disabled veterans. We have a wellness program, vitamins. We focus on TBIs, suicide prevention. Mostly in that realm right there is the TBIs, invisible scars, if
Right.
you will, is what we focus on because they're forgot about. Right now, the numbers, I know they throw out the number 22 a lot, but
Right.
the real numbers, about 4.5 to 5 veterans lost at home after the war as opposed to people during the combat.
Right.
And that's every single day, or is that?
No, that's the total number overall.
Okay.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
Oh, and-
So for like we lost, we're at 7,000, about 7,700 veterans lost in combat up at this point.
Right.
And we got 4 times that
4 times that.
have lost their lives at
Understood.
home after
Gotcha.
the war.
Right.
Understood.
So
We talked with we did a whole podcast with you guys
Yes, sir.
earlier, and I would certainly recommend folks to get in and check that out because we got a lot of information there. It's really great from a gearhead standpoint how you've worked this all into motorsports.
yeah, it's It was kind of found by accident by
Mhm.
myself and some of the guys that I hung out with.
Right.
I look around my garage one day, building race cars, and next thing you know, I got 30 veterans sitting around running their jaws instead of picking up wrenches. If I could get them all to pick up wrenches, I'd have built 10 cars. But they're sitting around, drinking my beer and bullshitting with me the whole time, if
Right.
you would. So we just kind of took it from there, to be honest, and
Yeah.
we just used the vehicles as a platform to get the veterans in for help.
Sure.
And it works well.
Yeah.
All donations go to the wellness program, the hyperbaric decompression chamber, flotation tanks, stem cell therapy, things like that. All the guys they're racing, like Kelton and Adam Benaway. They all have their own cars.
Right.
I have my own cars. I pay out of my own pocket. So none of it goes. We have some cars that have been donated.
Right.
So that money goes from our own money goes to the cars. The rest is, goes right to the veterans.
Right.
No one's on a payroll. We don't. Some people say it's a mistake on my part not having people on payroll, but if your heart's not in it, I don't want you in it.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
That's a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
So, and when you get to the track and you're doing these types of events, is it's a lot of it is about that sense of camaraderie that these veterans are getting, which they may not have, what they've been missing since coming home from active duty, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like next week, we do an open house where we just bring veterans in throughout the week and build cars.
Mm.
Guys and gals that never been around cars, we bring them in, teach them to weld. They're hanging out in the shop,
Sure.
ribbing
your
each
beer.
other. Yeah, exactly. Getting after each other, and it's they become part of a team again, and they
Right.
really enjoy it. We do the Champ Car Series.
Right.
We bring the guys in
Yep.
and gals in, and they run endurance racing.
Oh, great.
And it brings them in as a team.
Sure.
Eventually the car breaks usually on a 24-hour race, and then they have to face adversity together.
Right.
If you want a real team, a team that wins all the time is just a team winning.
Right.
But if a team faces adversity and then they come back, that's a real team.
That makes
Sure.
them stronger. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't, if it pulls them apart, then they're not a team.
Right. All right. So if I want to help out, if I wanted to make a
Just
donation,
go
how do I do
to,
that?
www.racingforheroes.org.
Right.
Racingforheroes.org. Just go in there. For example, December 17th, we're doing a Blue Jean Gala here
Okay.
at VIR.
Nice.
So if you got a car, you can come in and drive your car all day on track, and then you can attend the gala in the evening.
wow.
We got some special guests that are going to come, guest speakers coming. I just haven't got a chance to announce them to fully lock them down yet.
Nice. Can I
So-
wear my Canadian tuxedo?
You can wear whatever you want.
Do you know what a Canadian tuxedo is?
I'm guessing it probably doesn't have to do with corduroy, but
No.
maybe flannel.
Jean jacket and blue jeans.
Oh,
That's it.
perfect.
And that's what it's all about. You come run your car all day,
Yeah.
come get some food, music, and we
Wonderful.
got a bunch of gifts that we're auctioning off or
Oh, that's wonderful.
raffling off throughout the day.
All right. www.racersforheroes.org.
Racingforheroes.org.
Racingforheroes.org. Also, that website, that web address has been up on pretty much every show,
Yep,
and
thank
you
you.
can stop the YouTube there and get that thing there. Make sure we get the folks the help that they need, and love what you guys do. And if there's anything we can do to continue to support you, please let us know.
And you guys get a chance to come to the race shop. We're right here. We're stationed here at
very
VIR.
nice. Yeah.
Sure.
Come on up, check out the dirt late models with all the names on it, and the race trailers with all the KIAs on them.
Oh, good.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
And again, we're going to play the dance again. Just come on. We're going to switch out
Who's
right
next?
now. It's Eric Cruz is going to come and join us.
All right. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Problem.
That's right. We're not for elegance here, folks. We're here to get her done, and we're having a good time with it. Eric Cruz
Take
is
a seat, Eric.
is an FE2 driver. He's racing this week. He's also the young man who helped put this little thing together with Racing for Heroes with us.
Right.
How you doing?
Great. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing real well. Let's start with the business side. You're involved with Racing for Heroes. Why are? I mean, obviously it's why,
Why?
but what are you getting? What do you find fun or not fun? But
How did you get involved?
Well,
it's been a long day.
our business is defense contracting.
Right.
Do a lot with Army guys like them, and brought a couple more. And Kelton as well.
Yes.
Anyway,
Sure.
been racing here for 20 years, and got to know Mike and Ricky and the guys at Racing for Heroes.
Right.
Found out what they did, and we started doing some things. I also am into machine guns, and we'll do gunning with the Green Berets as a fundraiser.
Sure.
Get out here on the 1,000-yard range, and Mike put some old beat up cars down there. We use a different term for them, but it's one of those 7
I
words.
get it.
I think we get it.
Anyway,
get it.
but yeah, charge people a little bit of money and blow things up and
who doesn't like to do that?
Yeah.
So it's great fun. So we just developed a relationship. We try to support them every way we can, and certainly, me running commercials isn't going to get me any more government contracts. So we like to give RFH some time.
Absolutely. All right, now to the business side of what's going on this weekend. You are in the FP2 race tomorrow.
That's correct.
Tell us about qualifying. How do we do?
I did okay. Not nearly as quick as I can be here.
Sure.
And nothing really wrong with the car.
Right.
So that leaves one other element. So just we had a few things kind of get in there, but it's going to be all different tomorrow. It's going to be wet.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys I think haven't been around here in the wet.
Sure.
So
and you have.
Fingers crossed. And it's not my favorite thing to do. Running in the rain, unlike the young lady that was here earlier. But,
yeah, she seemed overly enthusiastic about racing in the wet, didn't she?
Well, I think she was overly enthusiastic because she had a car that would perform well in the rain.
wet.
Compared to
that
her
is
competition.
true.
Yeah. So, congratulations on being here for the runoff. That's an accomplishment by itself. And look forward to watching the race tomorrow. And I hope you have a great run.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
All right.
For doing what you do.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. All right. So we're going to take another break. We got to go through the rest of today's races.
Yes.
We've got to go through. What else? I've got a whole list here.
Worker of the Year again, because we had some technical issues last night, and we're going to give our due.
You know what? Before we do that, let's talk about the Twig. We're going to get that out here once. If you haven't learned about the Twig yet, this is what we're going to do today, and you'll love it. Here we go. A Rolex 24 at Daytona winner, a two-time champion of the 12 Hours of Sebring, a member of the prestigious Road Racing Drivers Club, and the Twig. Today we find the Twig at Virginia International Raceway, driving an MX-5 Cup car. The Twig is driving Spark Virtual Racing's S600. The S600 is a full-on driver training simulator. Unlike entry-level sim systems, this rig moves across all 6 degrees of freedom, making it a truly full-motion system that provides maximum feedback from the car. At $80,000, it's the ultimate training tool, providing a seat-of-the-pants feel that's remarkably close to what you feel when you are at the track. Let's find out what kind of lap time the Twig can lay down at VIR.
So we are out here at Virginia International Raceway in a Global MX-5 car here on the Spark Virtual Racing Halo Motion Simulator here. Trying to go for a fast lap, and man, it's different, right? Driving this Spec Miata car, I can feel it really starting to understeer, move around a little bit more. You can feel the softness of this car, which is so much different than a lot of the cars that I'm used to driving, the stiffer aero platforms of modern GT3 cars. They don't slide around as much. They don't have the pendulum effect of a soft MX-5 car here. Alrighty, think about hog pen. Let's get that good run out of here. All that curve. Rolling down, flat, right at the compression. There we go. Car sliding. Woo, every inch of the road there. That was a pretty decent exit. Get ready for a fast lap here. So I need that late, aggressive break into turn 1, looking for that 3 board. The 5th gear. Take a breath. Getting ready. Eyes are in. Boom, 3 board. There we go. Down to the apex point, back to full throttle, let the car be free out of here, go, 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 don't scrub speed. Thinking about turn 3, I want to be nice and light on the brakes to roll in speed. Nice and light, there we go, get down to that apex point, hey, what do you know, there we go, use all the road, that was okay, not great, into turn 4. Ooh, a little late on that turn-in point, not great, that's going to cost me some lap time. Alright, I need to be flat from here on out, all the way to turn 10. Let's use this curve here to do a little release, a little early on the turn-in point, get it together, hands straight, and we're good. Whew, take a breath into the S's here. You need to be inch perfect, the first S, so that everything else is just working out for me. There we go, that was a good one. Jump this curve. Keep that right foot on the floor, right foot on the floor. Come on. Alrighty, nice and light on the brakes, roll speed into turn 10, there it goes, float, 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 use every inch of the road, nice. Braking just past the 2 board, boom, hard on the initial brake. There we go, release enough, roll speed, there we go. back to flat the apex point, get the run out of here onto the back straightaway. Could have used a little bit more speed through Oak Tree, but my exit was good, and that's my main priority here. Take a nice breath, down the back straightaway, big brake zone coming up. I need to make sure I hit that apex point in turn 14, but I need to make sure I'm maximizing my brake pressure too. Nice and late on the brakes. Looking for that aero board. Let's go. Wham! Hard on the brakes. Get the car slowed down. Can I hit it? No, too much speed, but I need to go. Don't let it cost you. There we go. Alrighty, attack it through hog pen, turning in flat. Use this curve. Light on the brakes. Light on the brakes again. Car rotates. Boom, back to full throttle. Come on, car. Come on, car. Tell me I don't suck today with my lap time, please. And it's still not gonna be very fast. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Well, that's a little bit better.
$212.91. Now, you were on the sim rig today.
Yeah, I can confirm I am not. Well, I mean, you could look at me and know that I am not the twig, but but I was having flashbacks watching that. I started to get dizzy again.
You are not the twig in stature or in skill.
Or in skill and speed. Yeah, definitely not.
All right. So they've been running the simulator up here all weekend, all week actually, at the Runoffs. I think they're wrapping up and heading home tonight.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Because it's going to be raining again tomorrow, and electronics and rain. They were lucky to get through yesterday and last night.
Yeah, I think. Well, as we talked to them this morning, they were very happy to find that their equipment hadn't blown away last night.
You know.
Don't want to tempt fate twice.
Exactly. All right, tons of fun. We appreciate Spark Virtual for doing our Spark Virtual Racing and for being our partner here and doing that with us. Having a ton of fun with that, and more videos to come from Spark Virtual. We'll put those up on the Racing Network as well, and we'll do all of that. All right, we've got one more break to get in here, and then when we come back, we're going to finish talking about today's races. We're going to talk about Workers of the Year, which I messed up last night. We're going to talk about, real quick, we're going to go through tomorrow's starting lineups for the morning races. We'll do all of that when we come back. This is Inside the SCCA, brought to you by Goodyear Racing Tires and Vintage Racers for Rescues. Decades of sports car racing success comes from Goodyear Racing Tires' dedication to grassroots motorsports. Too many trophies and championships to count, and a commitment to continuing that tradition fuels continued tire development. From the professional levels of motorsports to the pinnacle of amateur racing in the SCCA, Goodyear Racing Tires are made for winning trophies. Follow @RaceGoodyear on Facebook or scan the QR code. Goodyear Racing is more driven. The Roadkeeper HD video and data logger was developed using our experience in motorsports, driving experiences, and beyond. It brings dual stream HD video combined with high-quality GPS data within reach of everyone at the track or on the road. Travinci Systems is an official Runoffs contingency sponsor, and it's not too late to sign up. On-site registration is available at the contingency desk in Tech. The Roadkeeper HD meets SCCA's requirements for forward-facing cameras. Take advantage of 2022 Runoffs pricing for the Roadkeeper HD, $324 plus shipping. That's $75 off. Offer is good through Christmas. Welcome back. Oh, wow, that was an interesting way to do the music here. Inside the SCCA, brought to you by Vintage Racers for Rescues and Goodyear Racing Tires. See, I switched it up.
Yes. They're different for the first time in a day and a half.
There you go. Big thank you to Dave Handy for showing up and telling us a little bit more about Vintage Racers for Rescues, and Mike Evok and Eric Cruz, stopping by and saying hi. And that was a whirlwind of a segment, but we got it all in.
Yeah,
got it all in. All right, so let's get back to
where were we?
Where were we? Let's get back to today's racing action. We've got the results. I think we did B-Spec and T4, right?
B-Spec and Formula Atlantic. 3 more races on the docket here. Let's jump over to H Production, and there you go, sitting right up at the top of the screen. There is Chris Schaafsma, who always the bridesmaid. Finished second at Indianapolis in 2019. Finished at second last year at Indianapolis. this year, he gets his first national championship in his Volkswagen Golf. He started second on the grid, right next to Steve Sargis, and Sargis had an off on lap number 9. Went off at Hogpen, trying to defend against Chris Shaftsma. They came up on some slower traffic, and Sargis, unfortunately, just did not have the right line through the corner there. He fell off, but a great recovery run for him. Came back and finished 4th. But before we talk about that, let's talk about Vesa Sogren, who went off twice today over by Oak Tree. And I think this was the whole story about drivers going off track and recovering. He went off twice at Oak Tree, managed to work his way back. He started 4th today on the outside of row number 2. He comes home with the silver medal. Of course, he was our champion here back in 2019. Finishing 3rd, as we mentioned, Steve Sargis, he had that off. And then Will Perry, who started 3rd today, also had an off on the very first lap, went off at Hogpen, managed to recover. I think the one driver who did not go off in the top 5 there on the screen, Chris Albin in his Volkswagen Golf, had a pretty consistent race here and comes home in 5th. So let's move over to Prototype 1, I think, Chris.
All right, Prototype 1.
Did I say Chris? Did I call you Chris?
I don't know
sorry,
what you
Brian.
called me here, but I'll take whatever it is, and I'm trying to find Prototype 1, and I can't find it.
All right. Well, we'll talk about Prototype 1. No, there
you go. It's not Formula V. These are the Prototype 1 winners.
The lowest horsepower Formula cars or prototype cars, as opposed to the most powerful. And so Chip Romer started. As we talked about before we went to the break, Chip Romer had been your pole sitter in Formula Atlantic. He did not get past lap number 1, but got his redemption in Prototype 1. And this was the interesting race of the day. I think perhaps the most interesting, as we had a track 2/3 dry,
absolutely,
1/3 wet. And to start off this race, we gave the drivers an extra pace lap in order so that they could sight and see exactly where that damp track was, because everybody went out on dry tires. And we had down at the south end of the course, coming out of South Bend, going down towards Oak Tree. We had going off our pole sitter, Todd Slusher. We had going off Jim Davenport, who started on the outside of the front row. We had Greg Case, who started 8th. All of them going off on the very first lap. And as the course then went to a full course caution, Chip Romer, who started 3rd, came down the pit lane, changed tires to wet tires, goes back out, stays on the lead lap. Now, Jim Davenport, who also went off track, as I mentioned, down at South Bend, when he got the car back out on track, he also pitted in for wet tires, but was a full lap down. He managed, when we went back to Green Flag Racing, to unlap himself, but he had another 3.27 miles to make it around just to get the traffic. However, Chip Romer managed to work his way around John McAleer, who stayed out on track, stayed on dry tires, and Romer getting his first national championship, first off, but also our only driver to this point to take home and make the Super Sweep. And in order to get the Super Sweep, you must win the U.S. Majors Tour Championship. You must be the the Super Tour champion nationwide, win that points championship in class, and then, of course, get the runoffs win as well. And he is the first person to qualify for that Super Sweep all weekend long here at the runoff. So congratulations to him. John McAleer, who started 6th in today's field, he takes home the silver. Jason Miller in his win first, the Kohler 2-stroke 6-cylinder powered win first. He comes home in 3rd. He started 6th today. He started 7th today. Todd Vanacore finishes as we see there, in 4th. And then Jim Davenport, who again had put himself a full lap down, he comes home, finishes 5th.
Wow. A lot going on in that race.
There was a ton going on in that race. All right, so let's jump over now to Touring 2, where your winner and winning his 4th national championship was Kurt Resitano. He won from the pole, but that wasn't the story. I think the story of the day was the battle between Charlie Peter and Mark Bowden, and their battling from the drop of the green flag is what allowed Kurt Resitano, we thought, to have an easy race of it, but in the interviews afterward with Hayward Wagner, he was talking about how treacherous the conditions were because T2 had to deal with that that wet portion of the track. When it came down to it with 4 laps to go, on lap 11, Mark Bowden drops a wheel coming out of the S's, was a little hot coming out of turn 9, drops a wheel, driver's left, comes all the way across the grass, shoots across the grass, almost made it to the back straight.
Right.
But just after that happened, we had 3 other cars. Marty Grand, I think Alan Kossoff went. Oh, actually, I'll tell you, there was another battle between Tim Kesman and Alan Kossoff. Kossoff having spun the car up at Oak Tree in that wet weather. But we had 3 other drivers go off over between turns 11 and Oak Tree, brought out the yellow flag, and we ended under a full course caution. Taking the win, as we mentioned, Kurt Resitano. Charlie Peter came home in second, and I'll tell you, I moved away from the screen for about 3 laps early on in this race as Peter and Bowden were battling it out.
Yeah,
I came back, and nothing had changed. They were still going at it, and Bowden always defending to the inside. And once he just opened up the door to the inside going into turn 1, Charlie Peter, tiny little bit, Charlie Peter took advantage of it, and that's all he needed to come home in second. Finishing third, as you can see, or as we had up on the screen, Tim Kesman, who's our reigning GT2 champion, so we'll see him again, I believe. And then David Sanders finishing in fourth. Alan Kossoff, good recovery run for him in the fall line Porsche, finishing in 5th.
Yeah, it was some really good racing out there. And again, today was weird because, today was weird. We had, like yesterday, we had just rain and rain and rain. So everybody knew what they were getting into. Today, there were guys and gals who went out in dry tires thinking it was going to be dry, and it got wet. And then when you see it get wet, there are guys and gals thinking, well, gosh, should I put on wet tires? And then it dried out. It was just a very off and on kind of day.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we talked about the Spec Miata race and the mayhem that happened in Spec Miata where all the drivers went out on dries and it got very damp in only certain portions of the track midway through.
Right.
All right, so we've got that T2 race, and that was the final race of the day.
That was the final race of the day. Let's look at tomorrow now. Real quick, the schedule. We get ourselves underway. We're back at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning because the schedule is not changed for Sunday, so we get an extra 15 minutes of sleep.
Oh, thank gosh.
And then after that, Super Touring Light, American Sedan, F Production, GT2. Those are your morning classes, your morning races, and then we're back at noon. Then followed by Formula Continental, GT3, Formula Enterprises 2. And Prototype 2.
We'll round out the day and the competition.
And then we will put the exclamation mark on a fantastic weekend and week of racing with our final show here tomorrow, Runoffs After Dark. Let's get to our qualifiers for our early races tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. So Danny Stain, we saw him on track today. He had the pole in Spec Miata. The race didn't end up the way he wanted,
right?
But he is a 3-time national champion. He's our reigning national champion in the class. Definitely looking to get that 4th national championship in the books. Joe Moser, also a national champion in the class, taking the win in 2020, starting on the outside of the front row in his Honda CRX. Of course, we already saw him in STU take that national championship yesterday in that shortened race. Gregg Malloy, who has been he's been there the last couple of years in his Honda CRX. He's looking for the national championship. He's going to start on the inside of row number 2, where Trevor DeGianni, who has been driving this Acura Integra. He's out of the Atlanta region. He's been driving this car for about 15 years, first in IT and now in Super Touring Light. I would not count him out, especially if it gets damp.
Yep.
With all of these Hondas, and we'll add that one more Honda, Max Gee, who took the win in STU back in 2017 at Indianapolis in the same Honda Prelude platform, now with a slightly smaller displacement motor. But again, it could be a Honda race, although last year at Indianapolis, it turned into a now Mazda MX-5 race with Danny Stain taking the championship.
All right, moving over to A sedan, Kurt Rezzitano. He's your pole sitter. Next to him will be Gregory Eaton. Daniel Richardson will start third. Next to him will be Clark Camburn. And then James, is it Jost or Yost?
It's James Jost.
James Jost will be
My former student.
Former student?
Yes.
And he's starting fifth?
Not only is he starting fifth, he actually won a national championship, my friend.
Oh, well, there you go. He's got Gregg's got that on the resume. My student is a national champion.
That's right.
Thomas West will start sixth. And then we're going to move on to F production. We've already run through these real quick. But
yeah, and this is the story. As we talked to Jesse Prather last night, he goes, "Well, yeah, we had some of my motors in E production, but F production is where they all are. And if you take a look, the majority of the drivers that are on that list, Prill, Kennard, Ira, I think Campbell, I think Bednar are all Jesse Prather Motorsports motors. And of course, Eric Prill looking for his third national championship.
Absolutely. GT2.
And this one, I don't know what to tell you here, but Andrew Aquilante has been the class of the field all week long. Didn't get a lot of time in the car during the test days, but in qualifying, he was up on the rest of the field by a couple of seconds. Danny Bender, he's in a TA2 Chevy Camaro. You can't count him out, but I think the Aquilante machine, the Phoenix Performance machine, is definitely the one to count on if it gets wet. Tony Ave, of course, in the field, a multi-time Trans Am champion in his own right. Mark Bowden, Tim Kesman, the Fall Line cars, they are definitely looking to win. Kesman, our reigning national champion in the class.
All right, that's what we're going to do first thing tomorrow morning.
Right.
4 races, start just after 8 o'clock. And like I said, we'll be live at 7 to get you ready for all of that action. We do have some other folks that we want to mention today, and they are our Worker of the Year winners.
Worker of the Year winners, exactly.
So full disclosure, I messed this up last night.
well, everybody could see it. They couldn't hear us.
They couldn't hear it, which is probably better for them, although we did have someone say that they wanted to hear more about the people who have...
they didn't want to hear us. They wanted to hear about the people we were talking about.
And I get that. So here we go, and I think we're going in different order than we did yesterday.
Yes, I think we are. Let's start off with...
Let's go with the proper order, or at least the order that they're on our list, and we'll get that going. Our Flagging Communications winner for Worker of the Year, Ben Tyler.
Ben Tyler from the North Carolina region. Also, he's a dual member. Also a member of the Cincinnati region as well. And he's been a member since 1985, which is the year he was born. And he has been the flag chief here for the region for a number of years. And not only that, he's lent a great deal of time, a great deal of knowledge to other motorsports programs of the SCCA, like Track Night in America. Next up,
I did it again.
How do you make them sit right on top of one another like that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next up, and these are our good friends of ours. As I call races with Brian Donati in the Washington, D.C. region for the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series, and we've been great friends with him for years. The twins, Vanessa and Valerie Foray, one works pit, one works grid. One, her boyfriend finished second in the runoffs here today in B-Spec. Congratulations to them, but they are always the biggest bundle of sunshine that you can imagine, and they're always there to give you a huge hug, and will run up to you from miles away. And I'll tell you, after a couple of years away from watching or calling Mars races, they were some of the first people I saw, and happy that they were there.
There you go.
All right, let's move over now next to race administration. Another North Carolina region person here. This is Sam Faust, who is he's been a member of the club for over 45 years.
Exactly.
And he this week, I mean, talking about being a utility player, he has been one of the folks parking people, racers here as they come in with their big rigs to make sure that they all fit into their paddock spots. Right. He's been delivering worker lunches for folks. But North Carolina region, when they run their races here, he is many times and most times a race chair, but he is also the region's accountant and treasurer. So again,
the money man.
The money man, but he is without a doubt a utility player in the club. As I have gotten to know many of the people in the North Carolina region, and he's a special one.
Absolutely. And then we have our race data tech, a new specialty in the club over the last couple of years, and that's Paul Morrison.
Yeah, and as he stepped up, he was the chief for data acquisition last year at the runoffs at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and in doing so brought in over a dozen local Indianapolis students to not only help, but to see exactly what goes on with the specialty, how they interact with the drivers, and are really a big part now of SCCA racing competition.
Okay, now I can switch the page.
Yes.
And hopefully get it done properly. Gary Abate.
Yes, Gary Abate of the Atlanta region. He's been a member of the region for 35 years, and for more than 20 of them, he's been the chief of tech for the Atlanta region. Of course, calls Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta his home, and he's always been known for being incredibly enthusiastic. I first encountered him there when I ran the American Road Race of Champions in the early 2000s, and also always making it easier on the driver and making them feel at home. Definitely, he's a good egg, without a doubt.
No question, no question. Steve Mortimer is our start worker of the year.
Yeah, Steve is out of the Steel Cities region, calls Pit Race, formerly Beaver Run, his home. He has been with the SCCA since, I believe, 2006.
Yep.
Exactly. And he has been the assistant chief of start for the runoffs and co-chief for the past 2 years, and definitely always very helpful in the Northeast division. And he has also been the Steel City region's chief starter as well. So great effort by him over the past year, and definitely worth the recognition.
Michael West from the Mid-South region. He is the steward worker of the year.
We recognize yes,
we do.
Yes, we recognize stewards. He's out of the Mid-South region, and he's also another longtime member. He's been a member of the SCCA since 1974, and he's done pretty much everything you could imagine. He's been a driver, he's been a coach, he's been a registrar for the region. He is also, as many of the regions had branched out into running time trials events, he has been the event lead for the Mid-South region's time trials programs. He's been a safety steward. He's also been a tech inspector and scrutineer as well. So again, always going above and beyond. He has also been, over the past year, the Super Tour race director and chief steward, and he's also served on the National Court of Appeals. So definitely has his hands and his fingers in all facets of the club.
There you go. And last but certainly not least, Wanda Hessler. Timing and scoring worker of the year from Black Hawk Valley region.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the racetracks I grew up going to. So Black Hawk Farms is the main track in the Black Hawk Valley region. Not a track a lot of people know about because it doesn't do a lot of big events, but really a fun little racetrack. But anyway, Wanda Hessler, timing and scoring.
Yeah, another longtime member, 45 years a member of the Sports Car Club of America, and I don't know what we can say about her other than she, again, like many of the people that we were talking about here, and the way they exemplify being a club member is that they are utility players. They do anything, they do everything that's needed. Doesn't have to be asked for. They do what's needed, and the Central Division has recognized her this year. And of course, congratulations to her and to everybody else here being recognized as the Workers of the Year in the SCCA.
Absolutely, and we want to stand by. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, we're back.
I'm back.
Or you're back.
I'm back. There you go. We want to thank everybody for all of the volunteers who are out here this weekend. In addition to the award winners yesterday, and even today, the conditions were great, but they were certainly better than yesterday.
Sure.
But we want to thank all of those people who come out and do what they do to help us do what we love to do. Also want to make sure, if you stuck around this long, we're an hour past the end of the race. That means I'm hoping you're enjoying it, and the best way you can help us out is hit that like button and the subscribe button. I always laugh when I hear people do that when I'm watching other people's YouTube channels, but now I'm the guy doing it.
You're the guy doing it, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell so you can find out when we go live tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
Lunch tomorrow and tomorrow evening.
And if you're watching the Racing Network, that's fantastic. If you're watching us on SCCA.com, like and subscribe to them as well. And also, if you're watching to us on Racer.com on their YouTube channel, we want to make sure that you like and subscribe. We all could use a little bit of love and do that. So real quick before we go, we got a couple more things. We got to recognize our national champs. Here's our national champions from Friday, and they are Formula 500 was Sven de Vries. Andrew Aquilani won the championship in T1. Jonathan Kotick in Formula F, and Thomas Herb was in GT1.
All right, and of course, we had Jesse Prather, who was one of our guests yesterday, taking the national championship, taking his 6th national championship, 3rd in a row in E-Production. Frank Futrell taking his first Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 championship, 2nd championship overall. Joe Moser, I believe, taking his, don't quote me, everybody, I think is his 4th national championship in STU. Of course, he's going for another one tomorrow. And then Jason Ott taking his very first national championship in T3.
And today, Trevor Russell, he won a national champion in FX. Marshall Mast, he was our T4 national champion. GTL went to Peter Shadowin. He won the national championship there. The national champion gold medal winner in Formula V is Brian Farnham, and Nick Bruni.
Don't make me cry.
I know. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not letting you mention Nick's name because you were a puddle of tears earlier.
Oh, my God.
So I'll do it. Nick Bruni, our national champion in Spec Miata.
All right. In B-Spec, Steve Introne, first race out this afternoon. He is your national champion in B-Spec. Alex Mayer in Formula Atlantic takes the win. Chris Shaftsmo with his very first national championship in H Production. This has been this is the section of the day with all those first-time national champions. Chip Romer with his first national championship. He takes the win in P1. Kurt Resitano, the odd man out, not his first national championship, but he takes the win in T2. And of course, he's going to be looking to repeat and take another championship tomorrow morning in American Stand.
Great stuff all day today. Great stuff all day yesterday. And we're having just a fantastic time out here. Want to make one last mention, and because we're wearing these fancy shirts, they came from the good folks at Shirts 101. They have a great tent here this week. If you're at the Runoff, stop by and pick up some Runoff swag. If you're not here and would still like some Runoff swag and a bunch of other SCCA stuff too, by the way, go to sccagear.com. All the stuff there is from Shirts 101. If you want something special, if you want to do a special shirt for your team, you give them a call or go and send an email to rick@shirts101.
Yeah, and I'm sure Rick would be happy to sell them more inside the SCCA swag as well, right?
Exactly. I bet you he would love to do that. This is going to be I figured I'm going to auction these off like race worn, show worn shirts. They've got to be worth what, 15 cents, 20 cents?
Yeah, on the dollar. Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Depreciated after I wore them, but that's
right.
okay. We made it.
Day 2.
We made
of 3. One more to go.
Day 2 of 3. Let's take a quick peek at tomorrow's schedule one last time. Breakfast at the Runoffs at 7 a.m., followed by our first race at 8:15 with Super Touring Light. Then we've got A Sedan, F Production, GT2, and then we'll be back at noon for our halftime show. Formula Continental kicks off around 1 o'clock, followed by GT3, Formula Enterprises 2, Prototype 2, and then our final show of the Runoffs. I can't believe we're more than halfway done.
I'm getting teary-eyed once again.
Oh, no, you're not. Stop it. Stop it. All right, so anything else? Any thoughts after day 2?
Well, if you get motion sickness, don't get on a motion rig. What else do you want?
That was not the highlight of my day, but
No.
it was pretty funny to watch. I got to tell you. We rode the Spark Vitro rigs, and my friend here was not too good with the motion. So.
Yeah, I was good with the times. I wasn't good with the motion.
Yeah, put it this way. I'm not going to be putting that song, The Motion in the Ocean, on the radio on the way back to the motorhome today.
Thank you.
So.
Yeah, I think we lived that last night in the motorhome anyhow.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you to everybody who's been helping us put this on this week. We've had a great time. We're going to be back again to do it again tomorrow. For Gregg Ginsberg, I'm Brian Bielanski, and we are out of here.